Another Top 5 Tuesday on a Wednesday? Yes, because today is October 1st, and this is my October edition of this segment. Let's go. Hello, YouTube. Axie Man here once again, and I wanted to wait an extra day before my Top 5 Tuesday, my comic book look on a brewski that's supposed to happen on Fridays. We're late a few days. This one is late on purpose. I just wanted to make sure that I got to this on October 1st, which is today, Wednesday, October 1st, because I wanted to go over my top 5 horror comic books. Doesn't matter if they're trade paperbacks, single issues. This is the story in and of themselves. I'll explain as I go along my list, but these are specifically horror comic books. Enough diddle daddling. I'm not gonna edit that. Diddle daddling. What? What are you blathering about, sir? In no particular order, let's go through my top 5 favorite horror comic books. Number 1 on the list is 30 Days of Night. This is a must read for several reasons. It's one of the best vampire comic books out there. And they've actually done a lot of iterations, not like remakes of it. They've continued the story in different ways. So I've actually read the novelization of the continuation of the original story. What I showed earlier is the trade paperback just a few seconds ago. This is what the original comic book looks like. I mean, look at the artwork. The fact that it's all white like that. If you know the story, 30 Days of Night takes place in Alaska, specifically the town of Barrow. And this is the real thing, right? Because of the way the earth moves. And hey, look, I'm not going to get into the science of it. I think you guys know what I mean. There is a point of time where there's 30 days of light and 30 days of night. What a perfect setting for a vampire story. And not just any vampire story, but just the way they look, right? Like the shark teeth, the blacked out eyes, like a shark. They did it in Finding Nemo when the main shark smelled a little bit of blood and you could see his eyes just dilate and turn completely black before he just started chasing after the two characters, Dory and the dad. I'm having a brain fart, but these vampires have that specific look. I love this look for these vampires. And the novelization, the covers themselves. I mean, look at this. Look at it. The novelization of the story that continues. I've read almost every single one of them, but if you're going to get started, my first recommendation is the original one. Give that a read. The artwork is amazing. This is by, I had to edit this, Ben Templesmith and Steve Niles. Eesh, the mind's going, right? But that's number 1. Let's go on to the number 2. Number 2 is a book by Scott Snyder. Yeah, that's Scott Snyder, the Batman writer for, he's got more than just Black Mirror and obviously Court of Owls. He's done a lot more than that at this point. But the great Scott Snyder, Raphael Albuquerque, and it's a story actually collaborated with Stephen King. The name should tell you alone that this book belongs in this list. It is for me. I love this story. It was actually recommended by my cousin, my homie, Atomic. Shout out to you, Atomic. And that is American Vampire. You'll notice that the images that I'm actually using are the graphic novels. And there's a reason for that. That's going to continue on to the next, 3, 4, 5, because I want you guys to look at the image, and that's what you guys can actually go look, ladies and gents. Go look at your, local comic shop. Hopefully has them, but don't discount places like Barnes and Nobles. I know it's a big conglomerate. I would prefer that you guys support your local businesses, especially local comic shops. But if you're looking to get it in a hurry, of course, there's Amazon, and there's also your Barnes and Nobles chains. But to move forward, American Vampire is basically exactly what the title says. It's a book about said subject, but it takes place in the Wild West. You're going to notice that I'm keeping these synopses short, like a lot of my videos, because I want you to read them. Pick them up. It's October. Definitely pick them up. If you're getting into the vibe of October, there's so many films and TV shows out there. Take a break. As I want you to watch this video. Take a break from the TV watching and everything else. Sit down and read one of these comic books. But American Vampire is definitely on my list of favorites as far as horror comic books. Let's go on to number 3. So 1 and 2 were vampire books. The next 2 will be zombie books. So the first one is a classic that I'm sure everyone is familiar with. It is The Walking Dead. I started reading The Walking Dead before the show, but I think at the point, I can't really remember, and I don't want to just kind of be fronting here and saying like, oh, I read it before there was even a show. That's how long I've been watching. Yes and no. There was a little bit of mix. I think the show was already about to be a thing. So I decided like, oh, it's based on a comic book. Let me start reading the comic book. And sure enough, it was a very similar thing with Lord of the Rings. A little bit, timing was a little off there, but for the most part, I started reading the comic books in preparation for the show, and I'm so glad I did. The artwork is amazing. I said this in my last top 5, where artwork is subjective. I still haven't figured that out. Subjective, objective. You guys know which one I'm talking about, hopefully, ladies and gents. But if the art grasps you, just grabs you, sometimes you can enjoy the story better. But nevertheless, The Walking Dead art, I think, in my opinion, is awesome. It's amazing. The story itself. Now, while season 1 and arguably season 2 into season 3 of the AMC show followed the story, the comic book story, pretty okay. You can argue. Let me know in the comment section. The first season, sure. Second season, third season, off the rails. I don't know. I didn't really follow the season past the second season. Not because they weren't good, just I always fall off of shows. That's a whole other topic of conversation. But this show is also a must. But we're talking about comic books. So The Walking Dead, the creator of The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman, legend with Image Comics. There's a funny story of how he got the book made. He was pitching a zombie comic book to the publishers. They kept telling him no, because zombie books don't sell. Zombie books don't sell. And that wasn't an accurate statistic at the time. So finally, he asked for help. He asked, how do you, how am I going to get this a book published? And they told him like, well, I think they already told you how. You need to give him a hook. You need to give him. And he pitched, okay, it's not really a zombie book. It's actually about an alien invasion, and they caused that. You guys can look this up. He gave him a fake story, and the zombie book was getting better with each issue. And then finally they go, okay, hey, we're loving the book, so we're glad that we published it, but where are the aliens going to come into this? I don't see any aliens. And Robert Kirkman basically said, like, there's no aliens. You guys told me to give you a hook, so I did. I didn't never intended for that hook to actually happen in the book. Sneaky little bugger, sneaky little devil. Hey, some people, like one of my brothers, we call Guardian. He's like, liar! What a liar! He says it in jest, but just the way he delivers the line. Hey, I think it's genius. But enough of The Walking Dead. Let's go on to the next zombie book that I mentioned at the beginning of number 3. So let's go. Number 4. You guys probably already figured this one out. Marvel Zombies. There's a show out. on Disney Plus. There's a show out. For all the ups and downs of Marvel, Disney, and just Marvel in general, whether it's comic books, TV shows, films, for all the back and forth, maybe whatever. This is not the time or the place to discuss the quality or quantity of work. Quantity? Oh, man. I've heard good things about the Marvel Zombie show that just came out last month, a few days ago. I've heard nothing but good things. But back to the actual comic book. The comic book is pretty awesome. It actually kicked off the first appearance of the Marvel Zombies was in the Ultimate Universe, Ultimate Fantastic Four to be exact. That was their first appearance. They decided to tell a whole story of one of these Elseworld or one of these kind of other world, however you want to label that, about the zombie apocalypse and taking our heroes that we all know, they're the beloved heroes and villains for that matter, and turn them into zombies, write different stories, collaborate a bunch of different artists and creators and writers, and they gave us Marvel Zombies. If you're a Marvel fan, if you're an MCU fan, if you're a Disney Plus Marvel TV show fan, this is definitely a must read. I won't get it too into it, as I said before, as I never really do, because I want you guys to read the books. I've already said that, but please go pick that up. You might not find 30 Days of Night. You might not find American Vampire. You will definitely find Marvel Zombies in comic book shops. And I almost want to take that back, because now that we're into October, a lot of comic shops, ladies and gents, will actually put out and their horror comics. They'll put out their some of the books that they've maybe had stashed in the back, or maybe they are just kind of collecting dust in the cabinet. They'll bust them out, put them up front, because you're in the vibe, right? You're in the Halloween vibe, the October vibe. So you won't know until you walk into the shops. So go walk into the shop. Go pick yourself up a copy of any of these books. And the easiest one to get into or read, because you're familiar with the characters already, should be Marvel Zombies. So let's go on to the last one. Number 5 is not a vampire book, not a zombie book, but one of my favorite characters, which is Hellboy. I encourage you to pick up any Hellboy. A lot of the stories are self-contained stories. If you didn't know that, you know it now. No excuses. A lot of the Hellboy books are self-contained stories. They just start and they end, and that's it. You don't really have to know much. However, if you did want to know about the origins of Hellboy, or at least, okay, but what was the first story? You can argue which one the first story, but as far as the official, in my opinion, and the general consensus, I would say, not just an opinion, is Seed of Destruction. Read Seed of Destruction, and you'll get your foundation, if you will. After that, or even before that, pick up any Hellboy book. The one image that I showed was the complete short story compendium, volume 1. That's a great place to start. The book's not that expensive. I think it's like $30, whatever it is. It has all the great. It's got they use the same type of paper for all the graphic novels, which is a thicker paper. It has a very distinctive smell. By this point, if you watch my videos, you're probably thinking, what is it with this guy smelling the comic books? Hey, it's just, I like it, right? But these, prove me wrong, or if you've experienced this, let me know in the comment section. If you open a Dark Horse graphic novel Hellboy book, the pages have a certain quality to them, different from like Saga and East of West and all the other ones. And they also have a very distinctive smell. I think it's the ink. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. Why? I don't want to see. I don't want to peek behind the curtain. I just like to take a big whiff of some Hellboy goodness. But pick up any Hellboy. Not only are they always all horror, they are horror. The artwork is amazing in my opinion, and Hellboy's funny. Hellboy is very funny. He is the epitome of do not judge a book by its cover, because he is he's the destroyer. He was here. He was brought into this world to end it, and yet he's like, you know what? Nah, I don't want to do that. He's like the biggest, like, FU of all time. It's like, nah, you know what? I think I'm gonna help humanity. I like these guys. I like these people. I'm going to help them out. And that's what happened, right? So he helps out humanity with the help of BPRD, the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense. And he's just an awesome guy. He makes a lot of jokes. He's like the Spider-Man of horror comics, if you want to put it that way. Well, I did put it that way. Are you really arguing with you on camera? See what I did there? But those were my top 5. Yeah, top 5. Hey, let me know what your favorite horror comic books are. If you don't know any horror comics per se, great. I hope this video actually will entice you to go out and look for these books, or encourage you to just walk into a local comic shop. I know I've said that term 100 times. Hey, you're going to hear me say it like 1,000 more times throughout my videos, because I'm always encouraging everybody and anybody to go visit your local comic shops, go talk to the staff, talk to the clerks. They're generally always cool people, and they'll help you out. They'll point you in the right direction. If they don't have the comics you want up in front because it's not that time of season, hey, just ask. You never know. You might have an awesome conversation. You might make a friend for life. I know I have at times. It's just the nature of the beast in the best way possible. But that's it for this video, this top 5 Tuesday on a Wednesday. As always, ladies and gents, collect what you love, like those comic books. Love what you collect. I'll see you guys in the next one.